Welcome here to RIZE Sports Complex as we get set for a Sunday afternoon showdown between RIZE and Team Wildcat, two teams coming off victories recently, looking to carry that over and wrap up the weekend with a W right here on JRM Sports Network. Alongside Grant Kalich, Jack Ridenauer here with you. Thanks for joining us on your Sunday afternoon. And Grant, you look at these two teams, Team Wildcat coming off a 4-point win, while for RIZE, an absolute drudging yesterday, 81-45, so a lot of momentum for both these teams into this one.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, RIZE really put a good game on the floor yesterday, and Team Wildcat, they definitely have some players, so this is kind of the toughest game of the weekend for both teams. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top today.
Off and running here from RIZE, with RIZE getting the opening tip. And RIZE yesterday won 81-45 against Midwest. Mamadou Kane early getting himself active. He had 17 points yesterday in the win to lead RIZE.
He's just such a good player for RIZE, and it's good to see him getting going early in the paint.
Offline from Brock Pritz, Southmoreland player. As bodies go flying, and Pritz takes Guyton down with him in an early foul against Team Wildcat. That is the first on Pritz.
Pritz started going for the ball there, but it ultimately worked out because that would have been an easy layup for RIZE.
And Jameer Guyton ran the floor really well yesterday. Had a strong performance, especially at the free throw line. As Connor Tull gets open, can't connect. Logan Irvin with the rebound.
Guyton was really just all over the place yesterday. He was getting to the lane, and that's what really allowed him to get to the line so much.
Elliott Signs gives it off for Xavier Bartos, coming off a 24-point performance in that recent win. Too strong from Saxton, and a good rebound by Guyton. Right place, right time. Kane with an acrobatic catch. Guyton spins, leans in, no dice. And the offense, a little stagnant for RIZE to start, but Team Wildcat still looking for its first points.
As long as the defense is there and you have the lead, you're going to be okay with whatever happens on the offensive end for RIZE.
Irvin pierces through, and a travel.
There's that defense, another possession, forcing a Wildcat turnover, and they're going to try to up the lead here. 2 points just so far.
It was a little bit of a slow start yesterday for RIZE against Midwest, but eventually broke open late in the first half. Steals, dives in, second try, third try. As they say, third time's a charm, and RIZE extends the lead.
He just kind of threw it up there a couple of times, and he was fortunate to get that third one to go because he never completed his move on any of those attempts.
Signs. For Bartos. Bartos, part of a Plum Mustangs program that's been pretty successful in the WPIAL recently. Caden Saxton way offline. RIZE looks to extend this lead, trying to stay undefeated this entire weekend. Kane's jumper, no dice. Guyton wrestles it away. Good box out by Bartos, but it does stay with RIZE, as Malcolm Fry along with Luke Rickel both check in for Team Wildcat.
Guyton just did an incredible job of sticking with the play there, enabling RIZE to get another chance within this possession to extend their lead.
Kane wide open, and a beautiful feed by Steele. And obviously those two have played a lot of basketball together, especially during the high school season at Swickley Academy.
When you get that ball up on the inbound pass to Kane, good things are often going to happen, especially when his momentum's carrying him towards the basket.
Rickel punctures through. Good hands by Guyton. Fry flies in, and the first points of the game for Team Wildcat come after 3 minutes of playing has elapsed. Southall fouled from behind, and Rickel, the guilty party.
That was a little bit of a tough call there for Rickbull, but you see Team Wildcat getting their first bucket as they attack the basket. First time they got all the way through is the first time they score.
Southall at the free throw line. Had just 2 points yesterday. This RIZE team trying to go 3-0 this weekend. Took down Team Excellence on Friday, 66-58. And Southall 1 of 2, but Guyton able to reel it back and keep the possession alive for RIZE. Kane fires. Guyton follows, and an easy finish inside, and the lead swells to a 7-point lead for RIZE.
And that's 2 offensive rebounds there for Guyton. That's his 3rd already of the game. He's just really attacking on the offensive end.
Signs. Works on Tull. Throws it away. Guyton with active hands. Good hustle by Irvin to get back into it, and it's back down for Team Wildcat. What defense by Logan Irvin in transition.
Irving not giving up on it at all. It can be really difficult to see a pass like that go the other way, but he made sure that the scoreboard did not change as a result of that play, and now Team Wildcat had a possession.
And an easy steal there for Drew Steele. Now a 9-point lead, and Steele continuing to be a problem for Team Wildcat in the backcourt.
Yeah, Steele's just being more athletic here, and that's just going to win when you're one-on-one like this. Now Team Wildcat having to bring some more guys up to try to get this ball in bounds.
Jackson Stevie receives the entry. He just checked in. Fry pulls off the glass. All 4 points belong to Malcolm Fry for Team Wildcat. Connor Tull has it blocked by Fry. Good save by Southall. Steals prize it free. Rattles out. Kane on the follow. Steals. Southall follows, and J.B. Perkins getting himself active with the block. Does stay with RIZE, but the defense starting to settle in here for Team Wildcat.
Team Wildcat there, I mean, they just really forced RIZE to throw the ball around. They were just kind of having the ball go from guy to guy with not much deliberation, but they did get a decent shot off there in the end.
Kane steals. Money.
And there's some more true ball movement there from RIZE, and they find the three-point shooter knocking it down to have a 10-point lead here early on.
First time the lead has been in double figures, and a huge rejection by Kane. RIZE has numbers, and Southall benefits running the floor, and the lead extends, and a timeout taken by Team Wildcat. As Coach Adam Bosco has seen enough with this 12-point advantage here, Grant.
Yeah, just a great run. You have the defense turning into offense there for RIZE, and that's exactly how they wanted to start this game off against a tough Wildcat team who, as we said before, has players from all over really trying to assemble and have a good run in the AAU circuit. But you could just see the excitement, particularly on the face of head coach Sherman White there from RIZE. He was really pleased with his team in the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, considerably better start to this one as opposed to yesterday's game against Midwest, where it was a little bit more stagnant for RIZE offensively, defensively as well. But right now, I mean, they have been clicking, firing on all cylinders, a 12-point lead, and we're really just suffocating this Team Wildcat right now, especially on the defensive end. RIZE trying to go 3-0 on the weekend after getting a win on Friday and a win yesterday. Team Wildcat already playing a game earlier. They actually trailed in that game 31-26 at the half and eventually won 63-59 on the back of Xavier Bartos' 24 points. With just 4 points to show for in 5 minutes of play.
They definitely have it in them to come back, but they're going to need to really show that against a good RIZE team.
Fry offline, his first miss.
And that's not the shot you want out of a timeout. You want to get a much better look than that.
Kane with the flush.
And that's just how it's been going for RIZE all day. And that time it's Kane making the big play in the slam.
Rickle punctures through, finds Stevie, finds the bottom of the basket. And Team Wildcat, they like to shoot threes. They made 10 of them in their win earlier today, but still down by double figures. Tull fires away. Splash.
And that's just so tough if you're Team Wildcat. You finally get your thing to go in terms of a three-pointer and then come back the other end, and RIZE just kind of nullifies that with their own three.
Bartos. Good box out by Tull, and Kane down low. Doesn't matter because it hits the wire, and it's back down for RIZE as Isaac Sumare along with Eric Kracian check in for RIZE. And for Team Wildcat, as you see this beautiful flush by Kane, they bring in Brock Pritz along with Elliott Sines back in. Kane with good positioning. Tull, Sumare glides in. And an easy finish inside as he had 10 points yesterday in the win against Midwest.
And that one there, just the seas parted for him. The Team Wildcat defenders just kind of left the area easy too.
Bartos forces the issue and misses. Kracian. Tull finds Kane. Fades. Good rebound by Rickle. And Team Wildcat trying to chip away at this 16-point hole they're in. Couple nifty moves from Rickle. Sines fires.
And that's the kind of shot that they're really going to need to go in if they want to get back into this game.
Kracian spots up. Can't get the bounce, and Stevie climbs the ladder. Here's Luke Rickle, part of a really talented Upper St. Clair team that was a dominant force in 6A this year in the district. Gives it off for Pritz. Stevie, an erratic move. Out for Rickle. Sumare secures. Halfway gone, and RIZE has controlled the entirety of this one. Sumare gets a little overzealous, throws it away.
You can't make a pass like that when you've got this kind of lead. You just want to start to slow things down. I know the quick pace has really worked for RIZE, but you don't want to start forcing stuff. You want to get quality looks.
Steele and Bartos both get tied up. And a held ball that stays with Team Wildcat. As Logan Irvin along with Caden Saxton and Malcolm Fry all enter back into the ball game. And at least for Team Wildcat, for RIZE, it's Chris Tull that comes back in. Along with Brandon Pickett. Irvin curls. 10 to shoot for Team Wildcat. Perkins. Kane smothers him. Batted around, and Kane inhales another big stop.
Just showing off his athleticism there. Not only did he get to the block, but he also ran all the way to get that ball.
Sumare draws the foul. That is the second on Rickle and the third on Team Wildcat. RIZE yet to allow 60 points to an opponent this weekend. Sumare gets the first free throw. Sines comes in for Team Wildcat, and Southall comes in for RIZE.
RIZE has just done a great job, not only today, but as you said, this weekend on the defensive end. They've only held Team Wildcat to 7 points, and doing that with no fouls. It's not like they've been forcing Team Wildcat to earn it at the line. They just haven't let them have anything.
Perfect trip for Sumare. 18-point lead, biggest it's been for RIZE in this first half. Rickle. Irvin Drives, hangs, and the soft touch works.
And there's another one. This time Irving just going to the basket, making sure he gets two.
Fry obliterates Gracian's layup. Goes all the way, out for Irvin. Signs tries to rip it free, but Southall, the stronger of the two, and then he throws it away to Saxton.
That pass didn't have anything on it. It was just kind of a floater. Almost always going to come down with the other team.
Fry jams it home.
Couple baskets strung together, and that one with an exclamation point from Fry. Maybe Team Wildcats going to start to make their move here.
Quick 4-point swing for Team Wildcat. Gracian drops it home. Nice feed by Sumare.
That's the kind of interior pass that you need when you're trying to shut down any hopes of your opposition coming back.
Fry finds Saxton. Nothing but net.
You can't leave shooters like that open, especially in the opposite corner. You got to make sure that someone is in that area, and RIZE just out of position.
Pickett pierces through, and a tough take for two. Back to a 15-point lead, and right now the two teams trading buckets. Team Wildcat trying to hand RIZE its first loss of the weekend. Signs. Irvin. Fry. Sidesteps. Can't get the bounce. A good stop by RIZE. Pickett pulls and cashes. Smooth stroke by Pickett, who had 12 points in the win yesterday.
And he's just getting to his spot there. And once he gets there, he knows he's going to pull up and knock it down.
17-point lead for RIZE. Saxton tried to knife into it, but couldn't do so. Pickett goes up, can't finish, and Gracian right there on the follow. And it's the biggest lead that RIZE has had, a 19-point advantage.
And it's a bad shot from Team Wildcat, a deep three that really didn't have a good chance of going in, leading to a bucket on the other end.
The offense for RIZE clearly clicking, and Pickett there with the tough take, but he does get hit with this foul, his first and the team's first. Also showing off that pull-up jumper. Bartos, Perkins, along with Pritz all check in for Team Wildcat. Mention how this Team Wildcat group comprised of a lot of different players from a lot of different high schools, as opposed to RIZE, all Swickley Academy players. As Sumare hit with the foul, that's his first.
That's just such a tough thing as a team to come from all these different schools. Not just because you have to learn to play with each other, but you feel less of an obligation to not take shots, right? It's not like you're going to have to deal with these people later, so you're like, all right, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to shoot my shots, and I don't have to worry about what these people think of me.
And that's a good point for sure. As Perkins can't get the floater, the follow by Signs offline. It's back down for RIZE. Steals checks in for Sumare. But yeah, you look at Team Wildcat, Mount Lebanon, Derry, Franklin Regional, Upper St. Clair, just to name a couple. And especially when, like you mentioned, Grant, everybody for RIZE, I mean, something happens in AAU, it could very well carry over to high school season, because this group of players in RIZE, they're all getting ready to play summer basketball with their Swickley Academy team.
Yeah, it's almost time to get back in the gym with your teammates, and you know, they're just really learning a lot here together, especially about how each other like to play and in a less strict environment. As you see a three-pointer being knocked down, and they're just clicking together, and that's really going to carry over well for them.
Chris Stoll knocks in the three, and Pickett quickly picks up his second, the team's third, as Connor Toll checks in to take out Chris Toll. 22-point lead for RIZE. First time in this one that it's been north of 20 points in the lead as Bartos can't get it to go. Perkins on the follow. Irvin checks his surroundings. Bartos on take two. Too much English. And a foul 94 feet from the basket on Team Wildcat. That is Pritz's second and the team's fourth. RIZE won Friday 66-58. Won yesterday 81-45. Trying to cap the weekend off with a clean sweep here in Pittsburgh. Pickett bowls his way forward, but it's inhaled by Perkins.
Pickett just trying to do too much himself there. Would have had a teammate in the area, but shot does not fall.
Offensive foul against Pritz. Throws the illegal screen. His third, team's fifth. As Kane checks in for RIZE. That's something we're seeing a lot more in basketball, Grant, that offensive foul, especially kind of that, I like to call it a brush screen almost. If you're not set, that's going to be an easy call for the referees to make.
Yeah, the officials have really cracked down on that in recent years, and it's good to see them, giving something in the favor of the defense.
Kane sticks it back on the Guyton miss. Biggest lead of the day, 24-point edge for RIZE. Here's Irvin, the Derry Trojan. Finds J.B. Perkins, spits out, and Southall inhales another rebound. Kane, heads up, coming our way. Almost had it. Just don't have that far of a reach.
Yeah, the table just a little bit too long here.
It's a little too long.
For
That's
that
okay.
Pass.
I didn't want to mess anything up. So I wanted to make sure that we kept it in play. 3 offline by Signs.
I really think that's been the problem for Team Wildcat. Just from the volume that they shot, they feel like a team that lives by the 3, and today they're dying by it.
Signs again. Check that Pritz on the 3. But you're right, Grant. They made 10 threes in their recent win, but just cannot get anything to fall from distance here. Guyton on the pull-up. And Perkins continues to be a strong presence down low for Team Wildcat.
He's really kept a minute on the boards, a RIZE team that really loves to offensive rebound, and Perkins has shut that down past couple minutes.
Signs finds a lane. Too strong, and here comes Guyton. It's the accelerator. Splits through, and Perkins wipes it away. Stevie checks in for Team Wildcat.
Perkins, another physical presence possession from him. Just making sure that that fast break did not yield anything there for RIZE.
Yeah, he's been impressive, and he's done a nice job at blocking without fouling. Toll fires away. Rattles it in.
And he was taking an extra look at that one, just trying to will it into the basket there. And that one did go in.
Perkins can't answer. And RIZE here with a chance to make this a 30-point lead going to the break. Toll can't get it to go. Kane goes right back up, sticks it home. Final 30 seconds in the half. Team Wildcat looking for something to try and carry over with them to the second. Irvin. Bartos. Irvin steps back. Kane with the miss. 9 seconds to go. RIZE with plenty of time. Gracian with 3. Kicks. Toll. Steals. And they can't get it off in time. But either way, RIZE with a 43-14 lead as we go to the break. 1 half away from an undefeated weekend for RIZE. Don't move a muscle. We'll have more coverage of AAU basketball right here on JRM Sports Network. One half down, and we go to the second. A 43-14 lead for RIZE. 16 minutes away from a third win this weekend and going undefeated on the weekend. Grant Kalich and Jack Ridenauer are here with you on JRM Sports Network. Thanks for hanging out with us on Sunday. Kane, and he connects.
And it really feels like in this game, you know, RIZE is working their way towards a similar result as to what they had yesterday, but they've really played much more complete basketball today, and they're really earning the lead that they've had rather than receiving it.
Saxton, too short. Fry comes away with it. Rickle, couple shimmies. For Signs, his three too short. Steals, pulls. A wrestling match with Guyton winning and finishing.
Great job there by Guyton. He lacked the position, but he did not lack the heart, and he was rewarded with the basket.
First time the lead has exceeded a 30-point margin today. Stevie's shot offline, and we talked about the defense this week, and Grant, I think right now, like you said, RIZE has really kind of come together in this Sunday afternoon showdown. Tull with the leaner, and he rattles it in. Nice 8 points for Tull.
Yeah, the offense for RIZE today has been certainly above average, but the defense has just been absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, limited Midwest to just 25 halftime points yesterday, but 14 today. They have yet to allow Team Wildcat to score in this second half. We're already 2 minutes in. Stevie's three all air.
And that shot just had no finish to it. He was already leaving before he even landed. You have to follow through and finish your shot if you want it to go in.
Good hands by Fry, and the flush in transition. Fry's really been that main offensive threat thus far for Team Wildcat.
It really hasn't taken much, though, for him to be that, because with only 16 points on the board, you have a couple loud buckets like that one by Kane, and he's really going to feel like the key player.
Another jam by Kane. Both teams trading buckets. Rickle rattles out, and Guyton, with great strength, continues to be all over the place on the floor. Steals. What a pretty finish. Just finishes off the glass so high. Signs. Steals with the rebound. Kane trying to show off, absorb some contact. Able to knife through and finish.
That's just back-to-back possessions there where RIZE has just imposed their will on a drive. The first one was more with skill. The second one was more with physicality. But either way, they are dominating their way to the basket.
Rickle finds Saxton. Another short three by Saxton, batted around. Signs, finds Stevie. He can't find the bottom of the basket. Guyton gets a little carried away and travels. Nearly a whole line change with Irvin, Bartos, Perkins, and Pritz all coming back in. You can see the nice touch by Tull and again, the finish by Kane, and this really complete offensive unit for RIZE. We talked about it, Grant, how they've played AAU basketball, they've played high school basketball, and the chemistry is just seamless for this group.
They've just done an incredible job today of really sharing the ball. They've got so many talented players, and it's easy for one of them to be like, all right, I'm going to take over. But really, it seems like everyone's had their possession and scored.
Irvin too strong on the jumper. 4 minutes gone in this second half, and steals. Puts in another trifecta. And this lead now exceeding a 40-point advantage, a 41-point lead for RIZE. Going to go 3-0 on the weekend. Fry probes, bobs and weaves. 7 on the shot clock. Bartos. Perkins with 3. Has to let it go when he does. But a shot clock violation, the first one of the day. And it goes back down for RIZE as Pickett along with Sumare check in for RIZE.
Another just good job on defense by RIZE, forcing another three-pointer from Team Wildcat. And it feels like the entire game Team Wildcat has just been left to shoot threes, whether it's because RIZE has prevented them from getting in the paint or they feel like they've been trying to need to climb back into this one. But I think it's time Team Wildcat just says, all right, let's work it into the paint and try to score there.
Southall to Kane. And we've seen some great interior passing amongst those two.
And that's that chemistry. If you can have your big men able to pass like that, especially to each other, that's just going to really bode well for you throughout your season.
Perkins. Here comes Pickett. Another thing we haven't mentioned about Swickley Academy, these players on RIZE, is that they were part of a really good team this year as Southall travels. A team that went far in the WPIAL playoffs, were upset through their journeys trying to get to the championship, but then made it to the state finals and lost by 1 point. And, you know, it's a really young team too, Grant. So those players, a lot of them, again, on this floor for RIZE right now, go from that long high school season, carry over to AAU, and it feels like they could really put something together special next season as Pritz's 3 spins out.
They definitely have an opportunity next year, but, I mean, they've been just playing so much basketball. They need to make sure that they do get some rest in there, because a calendar year of just straight basketball could have you fall off at the end.
Guyton's 3, no dice. Good hustle by Kane to rip it free of Pry. Stays with Team Wildcat. I think what's, again, can't reiterate it enough, Grant, just 2 points in this second half so far for Team Wildcat, albeit with a running clock against them, but still, this RIZE team has put on a complete showing here today.
Yeah, and there really haven't been a lot of dead balls to factor into that running clock, so RIZE has just been locking down on defense, and Team Wildcat, it's a combination of them just not taking good shots and not being given opportunities to take good shots.
And a timeout taken here by Team Wildcat. Only 60-16 lead for this RIZE team. Their weekend high was 81 yesterday in the win against Midwest after a 66-point performance on Friday, averaging almost 74 points per game on the weekend, so right, at least approaching on their average for the weekend. But again, for Team Wildcat, team that has a lot of players from all over, they actually have a ton of players that were part of the Roundball Classics underclassmen all-star team. Few on RIZE also made it, including Connor Toll and Drew Steele. But for those of you at home that aren't aware of what the Roundball Classic is, it's a huge local all-star game, if you will, for high school basketball players here in Pittsburgh. And it usually just features seniors, upperclassmen, but they have expanded it because it's become so popular. They've expanded it to boys divisions for underclassmen, girls divisions for underclassmen. And for Team Wildcat, they have 6 different players on their roster that were part of that underclassmen all-star. And actually, the all-star game, Grant, was played earlier this week here at RIZE, so I'm sure some of them maybe getting deja vu, showing back up on the weekend.
And it just shows really how impressive this performance from RIZE has been today. I mean, this Team Wildcat has a lot of really, really good players, and RIZE has just shut them down and dominated.
Bartos can't connect. Fry chases it down, but RIZE has really nullified Bartos, who had 24 points in the game earlier today. All the way around for Pritz, and was open to shoot a three, but Fry was open down low. And I think Fry just turned his head and a little miscommunication.
It's really just Team Wildcat that's just been shooting so many threes. Fry probably just assumed, all right, well, this possession's just going to be another one instead of the easier look.
Southall drops it in. Here's Pritz, part of the Southmoreland Scotties basketball team. Team that lost a lot of really good players from graduation a few years ago. Gives it for Fry, who's part of a tremendously successful Imani Christian team. Offensive foul that goes against Fry. That is his first foul in the second half. Fry does not agree with it, but he's played some big basketball in his young career. Part of a couple WPIAL championship teams and a state championship as well.
Yeah, and that experience is just so good. Obviously, you know, he's been there, he's done it, and that's just important, and he's getting more reps in here with AAU, but not going his way today.
Kracian with the nifty finish. And Irvin can't drop it home. And RIZE can push this to a 50-point margin. Kracian staggers through the lane. And Team Wildcat emerges away with it. Fry blows past everybody. A tough take and a chance at three. That is on Pickett. That is his third. The team's first in the second half. Connor Toll checks in for RIZE. Rickle, Saxton, Stevie all come in for Team Wildcat with signs getting ready to check in for Fry at the line. Fry completes it as he checks out. He was also, again, part of that Round Ball Classics underclassmen team. A lot of people consider Western PA to be a football hotbed. Some would maybe argue baseball, but Grant, I'd have to say the basketball scene's definitely starting to grow exponentially in the area.
Yeah, the players just have been more and more talented in recent years, and just need a little bit of exposure. And, you know, it's going to take time for these current players, you know, to get on to the college level, and then maybe, if we're lucky enough, get some into the pros. But it's certainly the talent is there for that to occur.
Signs drills a triple. And Team Wildcat able to cross over the 20-point threshold as Sumare, the fast move. Rickle spins, fades, and hits. Shade more than 4 minutes to go and a 40-point lead for RIZE. They won by 36 yesterday. And Toll continues to stay hot. His third made three.
That's just been a shot that he's been able to go to, and he's a pretty good shooter out there, showing it there.
Sumare finds Connor Toll, and he drops it home. Everything clicking for this RIZE team. Stevie twirls, finds the bottom of the basket. Toll with a nice hesitation, and the floater. It's turning into the Connor Toll show here quickly.
It's just taking over. That's 3 possessions, 7 points for Toll, and just showing all the skill that he has. And then he forces a miss there on the defensive end.
Yeah, some good defense by him as well as Sumare walks into a triple and cans it.
And now RIZE starting to push that lead back up, getting rid of the mini run the Team Wildcat had.
Stevie short. A chance to go back up to a 50-point lead. Connor Toll Money!
Connor Tall just on fire. That time from the corner, and RIZE is just completely dominating, now up 51.
Yeah, Connor Toll rising to the occasion, right on cue with a rebound. Check more than 2 minutes to go. Another dominant performance here by RIZE. Pickett, Kracian, offline. And now maybe RIZE looking to try and exceed the max points they've had on the week, and that's 81 yesterday. Stevie able to get it over Kracian.
You know, it's got to be good for Coach Sharman White to see here that, you know, RIZE had an opportunity last couple minutes, just kind of cruise to victory, but they've continued to put the gas down and make sure that they're not going to leave minutes on the floor that they could have.
Rare miss by Connor Toll. Signs to the tin. No dice. Final 90 seconds in this one. Sumare streaks in. Finds Kracian. And Perkins decides not to air it out. Instead, he commits a turnover. And Kracian can't handle. And the final minute of this one.
There's Connor Tall just really went on a great run there. He had about 10 points there in that stretch.
Signs with the three. 18 points scored by Team Wildcat in this second half after just 14 in the first 16 minutes. Sumare almost punctuated this one. Connor Toll. And Perkins chases it down. Final few seconds tick down. As Perkins can't flush it himself. And it goes back down for RIZE. And it looks like they'll just run this one out. And it will wrap up here this weekend, 77-32. RIZE takes down Team Wildcat to finish the weekend 3-0 and a clean sweep here in Leedsdale, Pennsylvania. Once again, a big thanks to everybody joining us all weekend long. For Grant K. Lynch, this is Jack Ridenauer signing off. Not saying goodbye, just a see you later. We'll catch you next time, all right here and only on JRM Sports Network.